You just don't. That's not your thing. The tech stuff. That's not your thing, right?
It's not my thing at all. I get actually nervous, like with all the programs that we need, all the everything. I have techno fear. I do.
Well, that's what you hire other people for, right?
Yeah, but we can't hire anybody yet. But yeah, I mean, I wish I had they call them, what do they call them? Technological founder. A
Okay.
tech founder, so that somebody who was very smart and savvy, in the tech world would be that's always so important, and I don't have it. You
You
know.
know, the tough thing about that is it's so broad, right? I mean, because it really depends upon what part of the tech world you're really talking about, and like what,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, however, some people, you ever meet those guys who just seem to know enough about everything, where that because I had a guy when I first started this app.
Right.
There was a guy that so when I first had the idea for the app, I went to a guy who I knew, and he's like, I don't even think I knew he was doing it. Like app manager. He was like an app manager.
Yeah.
As far as I knew, he was an advertise. He was like an advertising where he created business cards for people and
Mhm.
letterheads. And then I said to him, "Hey, I got this idea," and he goes, "I'm an app manager," and I'm like, "What?"
Mhm.
Um, but and to his credit, the guy was very smart. He was just impossible to work with, so we had to get rid of him.
Oh no.
It was Yeah, yeah. It was well. He was a go-between us and the engineers.
Mm.
So because he was that manager, he brought the engineers on, and I couldn't speak to the engineers directly. Everything had to be through him to the engineers. And
Mm.
I'm like trying to create a business here. I can't go through you to get the engineers. The engineers are
Right.
such an important part of what we're creating here.
Yeah.
I don't want a telephone here. And his English wasn't even that good. The guy was, like he was from France.
Mm.
So he was like, his English was like French English. It was just horrible.
Yeah.
Um, so it was hard to get rid of him because he was a longtime friend of mine.
Hmm.
But he was, at the end of the day, he was making so much money off of me. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the part that I'm concerned about. So I do a lot of tech stuff. I mean, my day job. So this is kind of a side gig for me, something I do on the side for fun. And like my day job, I'm a software engineer, and I do software projects and designs and stuff like that. But I've kind of got to the point where it's like I don't. It's kind of dry, and I've done it, and I kind of know how that world works. So like, it'd be a lot more interesting to like go talk to guys about bikes and like try to do videos
Yeah.
and share that stuff with other people. And that's kind of the stuff
Yeah.
I get really passionate about is like the social media and the bike community and the sharing and the interactions and stuff like that and like facilitating that. That's the stuff I care about more, which is
You
kind of
were,
techy, but not really.
you were about something earlier where you were saying like, even within the bike community, there's different languages,
Oh
right? There's
man.
different
Oh yeah.
different cultures. There's
Yeah.
different type of clothing, and you're so right. Like I could go up to the bike park, like up here in southern Utah, or even and all these guys that are riding there, I feel like it's a different sport.
Yeah.
That's not me. I didn't grow up in BC. I'm a trail rider. I'm
Hmm.
I'm a I'm a 53-year-old, middle-aged body, trail rider guy,
Hmm.
and then I see these kids with their flowing hair and their language and their get up and their bikes look different than my bikes. They're riding like downhill bikes and stuff,
Yeah.
and I don't feel any connection to these people.
Really.
It's so weird. Like no, I don't know. Like virtually, I won't say that publicly. Like when I'm talking to them,
Right.
yeah, I will. I have to be honest. I will, but I don't feel it. I don't feel a connection to them. I feel a connection with the guy who's the accountant or the attorney or the got someone like you.
Yeah.
You're the engineer. Who I don't know how many years ago you pick up mountain biking anyway.
Well, I'm actually a road guy more than I am a mountain bike guy. I,
Oh, so that's good. No, this is good.
yeah.
This is good because I don't road is like to me. So when I was a kid, that's all we did was road bike.
Really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad was a road bike fanatic,
Okay.
and so yeah, I had a chrome Chinelli as a little boy. That bike, I remember telling people my bike's $1,000. This is like 1975.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't. My dad would never pay $1,000 for a bike. I don't know where the hell he got it. My dad tended to exaggerate about shit. It was a
Yeah.
chrome bike. It was a Chinelli and it was
Yeah.
chrome.
Yeah.
How much? But yeah, we rode like crazy in Manhattan, in Central Park, and
Oh,
like all
awesome.
over. And I got away from it, like as I got older and I went on to college, I didn't ride anymore. I didn't
Hmm.
ride for years and years and years until the 2008 crash of real estate,
Uh-huh.
and I got destroyed, and I needed something to like take my mind off of things. And somebody said, Why don't you go mountain biking with me?"
Hmm.
And that was it. That was it.
Yeah. I did. So I got into biking actually when I graduated high school.
Should we
Um,
be talking about it on the podcast, or should we, or because
we could
we're
blow
going
smoke all day long about bikes, but we should probably get to the actual questions that you want to answer.
but these conversations and stuff, we should have, while we're doing it,
Yeah,
you
no, I
know.
agree. I mean, this stuff's awesome. I love this stuff.
I didn't know
Yeah,
you were road centered. That's good. That's good.
yeah. So I went to, there's a local bike shop here. So Liberty, Missouri. I grew up in a place.
By the way, you don't look road centered. You got a beard. You're wearing like a sweatshirt, you kind of top there.
Yeah,
Like you're wearing like your getup looks like you're a mountain biker, not a road cyclist.
yeah.
You know?
I wear a lot of mountain bike gear. It's a little cooler. I will say, road bike guys get a bit of a bad rap. You know, I mean, it's mountain
So
bike
like,
guys are mountain bike guys are
let
the
me
cool guys.
let me tell you something. It's so lame. I mean, when I see these guys with their tiny lycra stuff on, I'm sorry. I understand. I get it. But I feel like my vibe is more like, just a little looser fitting stuff, like
Yeah,
just more athletic wear.
yeah,
And then afterwards, we have a barbecue with a hot dog and a beer. Like
yeah.
the roadies would never do that because, they don't want to gain weight. They don't want to, you know, too much. They're
Well,
so into health. They're so
yeah.
into health.
It's what you care about, I guess. But yeah, I know what you mean. I got into road. So the way I got into road cycling is I
What's
went
what's breathing exhaust all the time? You like that? You like breathing exhaust? Just
well.
sucking that exhaust in.
You know what? I'd rather breathe exhaust of a big pickup truck that gives me a bunch of room than a Toyota Prius that I never hear coming and almost takes my takes my head off.
That's, I agree. It's a whole other issue. That's a
Yeah.
whole other issue. I thought you would say I'd rather breathe the toxic thing from the truck than crash into a tree on the trail or something. I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna
At
you were gonna
least
go
I
anti,
at
but
least
you
I
didn't go
hear
anti.
the
You
no,
went
no.
anti. You went anti e-car. Is what you went.
I'm totally kosher with e-cars, but I never hear them coming. And they basically roll me over because I bought actually the reason I bought a Garmin Varia for that exact reason because I never hear the e-cars coming and they'd scare the crap out of me.
Yeah. I had one for a while. My lease was up. Not a
Yeah.
Prius. I had a nice Tesla, and I loved it. I miss it, but I'm gonna wait for the truck to come out.
Oh
I'm
man, that
waiting on.
Cybertruck, dude, that thing looks sick.
Yeah, I like Tesla. I like the company. I like what's his face, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I had a nice experience with my Tesla. I mean, there were issues with it. I mean, it's another conversation. We can get into shit like that too, you know. But you want to talk everything offline. You want to. I don't. You know.
Well,
We already had a half an hour podcast we just did.
well, you and I are both talkers. We can go on for hours. Okay, so let's do some of your questions. That way you can get some. That way you can get some cuts, and then you can use them for your thing. So, what is the Jagz? What is Jagz, and why should you download and use it? That's one of your questions. What is Jagz, and why should you download and use it?
So if you are a cyclist of any kind, mountain bike, gravel, road, um, Jag's app was created to make your life easier.
Yeah.
So right now, the biking world really doesn't have a home. It's sort of
Mhm.
scattered, right? People use Instagram for this. They use Facebook for that. They use Trailforks for this. They use Strava for that.
Mhm.
And all of them, I use every single thing I just mentioned.
Yeah. Me too.
I wouldn't be on Instagram if not for Jags. Like I have no reason to be on Instagram. I'm on there simply to promote my app and to meet people.
Right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be on there. And to be honest with you, I'm tired of Facebook too. But that's a whole nother story. I use Trailforks. I use Trailforks a lot, but now they have a paywall. Trailforks.
Oh, really?
A lot of people, if you go look at their ratings in the App Store, it's miserable because
Yeah.
people hate their paywall, and because now they're owned by Outside Magazine bought Trailforks, which came along with Pink Bike. Whole another issue.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Outside just bought them like recently.
They're buying
Um,
everything.
With a lot of people, Trek is buying everything. Outside is buying everything. You know who bought Sea Otter, which you hadn't heard of? Sea Otter's this big event,
Right.
this big biking convention thing. That was bought by the Lifetime Fitness.
Okay.
Bought that. So they're also, and Lifetime Fitness is buying all these like races all over the country. The famous ones that you've heard of, like the one up in Colorado, I forget what it's called, that everybody, Lifetime bought that.
Really?
So yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of movement, a lot of things going on. But getting back to your question, if I can remember the question, so yeah, there's a lot of apps, there's a lot of things, and people are sort of using each one of these apps for different parts of their biking life, right?
Right.
And there's really no home. There's no home. I mean, I think Strava would like to be that, but it's I find it cold and mechanical, and it's just not. It's not an engaging app for me personally, and I think for a lot of people. And I think certain aspects of Strava, it has a bad reputation that it has to overcome, which is those guys going, "Get out of the way, you got a KOM to beat," that kind of thing. Yeah. We even have an advertising campaign that we're going to do, which I think I told you before. And I started, actually, if you go look on some of the social media, I've posted these little videos, these cool little videos I created. I'm no video creator, but I think they came out pretty cool. That says it's not always about the KOM and the elevation gain. Sometimes it's about the places and the people. Yeah. Basically being the Uncola, right, to the Coca-Cola, being the Sprite Coca-Cola.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So basically, I think that our mission in Jagz was it started with a feature. It started with the idea that whenever I traveled somewhere, I always said to myself, whether in my head or saying to my son or whoever I was with, man, I wish I knew somebody in this town. Yeah. And why do you say that? You say that because, like, where's the trails? Where's the trailhead? Which is the best trail? I'm a big scenic guy. Like, I love scenery more than anything else about biking. I love scenery. I love nature, scenery, and escapism. Like, those are kind of my thing. So, that's not something you can easily get off of Trail Forks, or it's not something you certainly can't get off of Strava. How would you get that? By talking to a local. Like, locals know the best stuff, right? Locals, you can say, this is the type of ride I like. Here's how much I like to ride. What do you recommend? And so, I thought to myself, I remember I was with a friend of mine, Rodney, who I love, who doesn't talk to me anymore. Whatever. It's a whole nother story. Rodney said, man, so I said, like, what if there was an app where you can meet people who ride anywhere you go in the world? Yeah. And then what if that person has the option of charging for his time? So this way you're sort of like giving a reason, some reasons for both sides, right? And I remember Rodney saying to me, man, I would be both sides. I would use it as I'd be a host, and I would use it if I was traveling. Yeah. And when I get something in my mind, and it could be something small like I just put I'll have to show it one day, but the fire pit. I just got a fire pit bowl that I ordered, a concrete bowl. It's so beautiful. So I had this vision out here in this place by my property here, in the fire pit. So I had to get it. Like, it's no waiting. Like, I can't wait 5 minutes. Now, luckily that wasn't as expensive as this app, So, this app like changed my life in that, I've gone through several iterations of David Jaget, and this is the latest, and I hope the greatest, because the other ones were not so great.
It's a stressful process, man.
Stressful process when you go like this. When you're an entrepreneur, you go like this. One day you can ask me some of the things I've done, but it's like this. It's like this. So I'm hoping this one just goes like this, and then I hop off over here and get myself a ranch up in Idaho or Montana. There you go. And that's it.
You're at the peak, and you're just going to stay there. Yeah.
Yes. I've learned lessons. Money, a profit's a profit's a profit. Just take it and live your life. We can talk about that stuff another time. Your question though was why Jagz, and so you can do this ride. You can go anywhere you want in the world. Like right now, if you go in Jagz and you put a town in Scotland, you're probably going to find somebody. You put this one in Australia, probably going to find somebody. Philippines for sure. I mean, France, Portugal, Spain. I mean, you name it, you're going to find somebody. Yeah. And you can, and then you can chat with that person, strike up a conversation. Like I've said, hosts are the best cyclists. When I say they're the best cyclists and mountain bikers in the world, I don't mean necessarily the best as far as abilities. I mean, they're the best people. Right. They're the best people.
Yeah, they
You
are.
know, they're the best people. I think Jagz is going to be the home of the best people, the best cyclists in the world. And I'm going to say that over and over again. And if somebody misconstrues that as being skill, well, what can I tell you? I'm talking about best people. That's what I think. So now you can go anywhere in the world and you can find. So then, of course, it's natural to say, okay, you can find a host. Well, let's also, how about tour guides, professional tour guides? And this is an interesting thing too that we can get into. But tour guides, some tour guides were upset when I came out with Jagz. That has simmered down completely. I haven't heard that anymore.
Yeah.
But they were like I'm a tour guide, and how can you do this? Take regular people and make them into hosts. And I have to, of course, delineate what a host is versus what a tour guide is.
Right.
But what if we added tour guide profiles so you guys have a home as well? So people, when they're thinking about biking, they come on the app, they can find a tour guide. But here's something about tour guides that these guys will never acknowledge. Okay. They are only in 0.00001% of the world. Like in the average, what town do you live in, Tim? Or
Kansas
what area?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. All right, how many mountain bike tour guides are there in Kansas City? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Goose egg. Yeah.
So, if I'm coming to Kansas, but you know what there is in Kansas City? There's mountain bike riders.
Yeah, there are.
There's riders. There's regular people like me and you.
Especially if you go out in the country and get out of town. Yeah, a lot.
When you get, if you're obviously in an urban area, you're more likely to be a cyclist.
Right.
But a lot of these guys do both, and they do the mountain bike, and they just got to get in the car, throw the rack on, and go riding somewhere. So not everybody can live on a trail like me.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that.
Living the dream, man. You're already living the dream then.
Well, I think everybody. Yeah. Right.
Well, and the reason why I actually got talking to you about this, and the reason why I wanted to be a host is because, this is a problem I run into even in Kansas City with like the gravel groups in Kansas City, because we have a lot of gravel trails around here. We've got Katy Trail, we've got Rock Island Trail, and I do a lot of social stuff for those trails. I have Facebook pages and stuff I do for those trails, and I've got probably 3,000 or 4,000 people all total in my Facebook groups at this point. But like getting those people together and like organizing groups and doing that on Facebook is a nightmare. It is just such a pain.
I'm so happy to hear that.
What's that?
I said I'm so happy to hear that.
It is. Well, that's why I was so excited about this. It was like, this is a thing that needs to happen, because I've been trying to figure out a way to solve this problem myself in Kansas City, and then I saw your app and I was like, that's it. I mean, that's the solution.
Yeah. I can't wait for you to see what we built. I have a developer's version in my phone, and I cannot be in both. I cannot be in one and the live version, and I prefer to be in the version because people try to communicate with me sometimes through the app. So when I'm done looking at the developer version, I move over to the live version. And if I had it with me, I would put it here on the screen and show it to you, because it's so sexy. It's so sexy. I mean, it is, and I'm excited because I'm excited to run advertising about just meeting your biking community. Joining group rides, creating rides, like coming in from that angle as opposed to the Uber angle. The angle like make money while you ride kind of thing.
Right.
I needed that because I need people. Like I need the supply of the demand side, right?
Yeah, right.
We're a marketplace app, so I need to have people in places around the country, so that comes springtime when people start traveling and stuff. Even though this is a crazy world right now and it's hard to travel, but they're going to go places that they can find someone to ride with, and we can live up to what the app was designed to do. But I feel the engine of the app is going to be this calendar, and the calendar is just the first part of the My Town concept. I can show you that. If you look up here, if I go to the app.
I think I was just looking at it on mine. Yeah.
No, what do you online? What do you mean online?
No, on mine, because it's on. That's on here, right?
Yeah. I thought you said online.
Yeah, on my phone. Sorry. Yeah.
But that orange button says My Town, and that My Town word is going to be bigger, by the way. You can barely see it right now.
Yeah.
But when you tap on that, of course, it comes to a coming soon page.
Okay.
That's all it comes to right now. But that's going to be the center of the app. So that's going to be the engine, in my opinion, that drive people to all the other aspects of the app.
Right.
The travel aspects of the app, and being a host and being a guide and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be very natural to be on the app for joining rides and meeting people, and very natural to see the rest of the app and go, oh, look at this. Look at this. There's a search engine, and I can put any town and I want. Look what's going on over in that town, that sort of thing.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I'm stoked about it because I'm going to use this for. I've got all kinds of trail rides and stuff for all my Facebook groups and stuff, and I'm just going to be driving people to the app like crazy
Thank
because
you.
I'm. It's
You
just
have to,
going to.
you have to be honest though. I'm not going to get along well with a lot of mountain bikers and cyclists, right? I mean, you have to. My personality is not that way. Like what I'm saying is that I have friends that are mountain bikers, and I don't have any cycling friends, but I have mountain biking friends.
Yeah.
But you have to be a special person to like me because I can be, I can rub people the wrong way. I don't know why I brought that up. Why did I bring that up, Tim?
I don't know. That's
All right.
interesting information. You seem like an agreeable person to me. I mean,
I think I'm so agreeable. I think that's why people don't like me.
it's just too friendly.
I think and I'm
Yeah.
generally a happy person, and I think that unhappy people don't like happy people so much.
Just
They want them, So, all right, but we'll move on from that topic. That's a good
topic. We can talk about anything, man. So how's it different from other some of the other bike apps? You've talked about this like with Strava and stuff a little bit. I mean, because your focus is different. What's the different focus you're going for?
Yeah, I think. Look, to me, the most prominent biking apps, and I know there's a lot, especially with training, like indoor bikes and stuff. There's a lot of things, like different things that companies make, but you never hear anybody talk about really virtually any other app besides Strava and Trailforks.
Yeah.
And Strava being the one that I think is a much more valuable asset than Trailforks, which is weird because I think Trailforks is brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's very clear what Strava's original intent was. It's hard for them to pivot from it, and I think, mapping your rides is fun, but very limiting.
Yeah.
And the social aspect of it, it's just not working. It's not fitting in with their initial look of the app, in my opinion. So I think that appeals to a certain type of rider, to a lot of cyclists who, the weight weenies, the people who are really concerned about data, how heavy is my bike, and speed, and all the climbing, and all that kind of stuff. I literally only use Strava just so I can see the pretty picture afterwards. I can, I
can paint the.
Sometimes I make a loop because I like loops better than out and back.
Yeah, right. Then a line.
That looks like you didn't do anything, like you did a line.
Yeah.
But a nice circle, it's like, oh, you started here, and look how you came all the way back around.
It's so fulfilling.
It's fulfilling, and that's why I like. That's why I use Strava, and I see a lot of people like my rides, but so what? Like I don't really communicate with people. Sometimes I see who liked them. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm outside of, and we know what Trailforks is, and Trailforks to me is much more. If it was between Strava and Trailforks, I prefer Trailforks,
right?
Because I mean, how helpful is Trailforks sometimes? I mean, it's incredible,
Yeah.
But it's also missing the human element. It's missing something that's very, very valuable, which is connection and depth and detail. As far as, I don't mean detail, I mean, yeah, people leave information about the trail, but you can only garner so much real life information from people write on Trailforks.
Yeah.
But if I'm coming to your town, I could talk to you, Tim, and I'll be like, Tim, do you got any like where's a nice like high elevation ride where it has some views, if there are any? Where is it really pretty? I like some tech, Actually, to be honest with you, I don't like tech. I used to like tech.
Yeah.
What I realize now is sometimes I just get sick of it. I just want to ride, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with tech. I my skills are pretty good actually, tech-wise. They're okay. But if you give me, what I like? High mountain meadows. Oh, there's nothing better than a high mountain meadow.
Yeah.
High mountain meadow. Alpine meadows. Is that what they call it? Like an alpine meadow with like grass and flowers. Oh my God. And you see the tops of the mountains and the hills. That, man, whenever I have the chance to ride something like that, which is not that often because I live in the desert here, I try to take it in so much. Wow.
You should hit, have you ever been to like northern Arkansas, southern Missouri area, the Ozarks down there?
No. I've been to, what's that town that everybody talks about these days, that the Walmart company lives, where the company is, Walmart?
Oh, in Arkansas? Like
Bentonville, Arkansas.
Yeah, Bentonville.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's around Little Rock, isn't it?
I don't know. I went to Bentonville. That was nice.
Yeah.
the type of riding that I'm talking about that I experienced was in Idaho,
Really?
the Sun Valley area. Oh my God, Ketchum, just outstanding. That's like some of my favorite riding I've ever done was up there.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And then after that, I did some amazing riding in Tibet, which was crazy.
Sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. That was awesome. Me and my son went to Tibet. It was fantastic.
I can't.
But I'm not one of these guys that's ridden. There's a lot of these YouTubers that ride all over the world, right?
Yeah. Right.
And these guys ridden everywhere. I'm not. I haven't. I mean, to a non-biker, yeah, it sounds like I've ridden in a lot of places, but not really. Not compared to the fanatics that are out there.
The guys that just do it for a living, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, if you ever go down to the Ozarks, like Table Rock Lake territory, there's some fantastic trails. There's mountain bikes, road, gravel. I mean, anything you could ever want, and it's all just just like this the whole way, just hills, mountains everywhere. It's gorgeous.
What was your last question? Did I answer it? I don't remember.
You did. Yeah, you did. And then we went off down a rabbit trail, which is great. I love rabbit trails.
Rabbit hole, rabbit trail.
Rabbit trail, rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it.
I think one one's accurate and the other one's not. I'm thinking hole. Rabbit hole is what it's supposed to be, by the way.
Is it really supposed to be? Well, yeah, that's probably an Alice in Wonderland reference, and I just blew it. So
it makes sense. I just don't think that there's a lot of trails that rabbits make. I don't think they make, because I don't think they're not like donkeys where they walk in line and they create a trail.
fair criticism.
They're holes. They're known for their holes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You are correct. So rabbit holes is.
Yeah, if you watch Winnie the Pooh, you'll see the rabbit always has like a hole he goes in.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So rabbit holes, not rabbit trails. That's there we go. I
think as a roadie would say that, by the way.
We're not the coolest. We're not the coolest bikers in the world.
No, I realize that.
Hey, so what's it like building? What's it been like building the Jagz app? You've talked about that a little bit, about the ups and downs of it. You wanted to talk about that a little bit. What's it like building the Jagz app?
Oh man, I'll tell you something. Building an app, if you are impatient, and I am the definition of impatient,
yeah,
it is the most painful thing in the world. I mean, there's nothing fast in building an app. No. Nothing. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Engineers can only go so fast, and you know this. I mean, you yourself you're an engineer.
This is what I do software development for a living, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I find that to be extremely painful. I had no idea what I was getting into financially. Mm-hmm. I went to the original guy that sort of led me down the path of building the app after I thought the idea up. He said I could do this for, and I'll tell you what, he said I could do it for $60,000, and it'll take about 8 months to build. It was something like that.
Right.
And I said, wow, $60,000 in 8 months. Man, for like the idea that I had, I got excited about that. I'm like, holy shit, that's it, that's awesome. And then I'm done. And then like in my mind, I'm thinking I'm done. Like that's amazing. Yeah. Oh my God, was I wrong? All right. So $500,000, $600,000 later, and 4 years later, and the product you see is what you got right now.
Yeah.
So now we made a strategic error, and we can talk about that. I probably wasted, a good $200,000+ at least, because I didn't know what I was doing. And do you want me to get into this now, or you're asking me about the difficulties of the app?
You can talk about whatever you want. I mean, I'm here. This is interesting. Go for it.
Well, so engineers are extremely expensive. You guys are extremely expensive. And originally I mentioned earlier off video that I had hired somebody as, quote, an app manager. And that gentleman, he was kind of a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. But it turned out that he was the go-between. So he would take a cut. So basically, like, the way he was doing it was like, okay, you can build this feature, and this feature is going to cost, $6,000, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't ask any questions. He was a friend of mine, and I thought, all right, this is the way this is done. So I ponied $6,000. Later on, I come to find that he took like $2,500 at least, maybe even more of that $6,000.
Oh wow!
So, I'm throwing money away, and to boot, we were doing a lot of, because of the budget we were on, which was a tight budget. It was only me.
Yeah.
They were trying to do things on the cheap. They were using a lot of third party, about this stuff, third-party applications, if you will, or third-party things that you can get.
Open source
And
tools and stuff. Yeah.
when you do that, as I found out later, because we built the app, and the app had a lot of glitches, a lot of bugs all the time. We were dealing with bugs, and I came to find out, and to this day, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I think that was one of the reasons why we had so many bugs, because it wasn't built so beautifully from the ground up,
Yeah.
And Flash, move forward a couple of years, gosh, yeah, at least a couple of years, and that app, a lot of people might be familiar with the name MTV Guru. That was the original name of my app. And when I came out with that app and I was having all these bugs, I left the gentleman who started with me, and found a new engineering company, a new app building company, based in India. And I've been with them now for a while. And they flat out told me, now remember, this is after spending a lot of money, they said, listen, we think you should rebuild the app from the ground up. And it was painful because I had thousands and thousands of people. I mean, I had 15,000 people in the previous app, and I literally just let it die on the vine. I couldn't face them. So I just literally went to bed every night thinking, I hope you don't hate me. I hope you don't hate me. But I need to rebuild this app. This is in my mind. They don't know this.
Right.
And so we spent, another 2+ years rebuilding the app from the ground up, and it's such a better app. I mean, what we came out with is just, in my opinion, I think it's well designed, well built. I think it's user friendly, and I'm getting that feedback from people. I mean, I have to be honest. This is what people are telling me. Oh yeah, it's very intuitive, friendly. I knew exactly, and it makes me feel great. It makes it somewhat all worth it. I did lose a lot of money, and I'm continuing to dump tremendous amounts of money into the app. The app's not making money. It's not going to make money for a long time.
Yeah.
We can get into that in a little bit if you want as well. But you asked me, the bottom line is, you asked me what's it like. It has been unbelievably stressful, exhilarating, very exciting, because I feel like I'm onto something amazing, but incredibly stressful for not just me, but for my family. I mean, if you're talking about spending, a lot of money every single month, and it squeezes your budget, and you have, kids and a family to take care of, and you have to balance that, and you can't just stop. You're already way deep. I can't say, I'm just going to stop. So I had a big break about 6 months ago, when a gentleman, who I met for a completely different reason. We went to lunch. It was for another business that I do. And we went to lunch over the business. So we talking, and somehow it came up. I said, what I'm really excited about is the app that I'm developing. And he said, the app you're developing, what do you mean? And I explained to him, the guy's not a biker at all. He's never been on a bike. But I explained to him, and he's an investor. He invests in a lot of stuff. I didn't know that when I sat with him. But, he's a very big investor, mostly businesses and real estate and all that kind of stuff. And he said they would love to add something to their portfolio, like a tech thing, a startup thing,
That's awesome. Yeah.
No, it's not. They turned it down. So
oh no. Spoke too soon, huh?
Yeah, he didn't turn it down. Personally, he said he wants to still do it. But the group that he brought it to, which is, he's part of the group, he runs the group, they voted against it.
Oh, no.
So he's got a grind, what's it called, an axe to grind, and so do I. He wants to prove those people wrong, and I want to prove those people wrong. And I have a lot of people I want to prove wrong, not just them. I can count them on all my hands and feet, man.
How much of entrepreneurship is proving people wrong?
It drives you. It's like the only thing, really.
Yeah.
It's a lonely thing. Entrepreneurship, doing something like this is extremely, because you go tell your friends, and it's a weird thing. Like, your friends don't really get excited for you and your idea, and you feel it. You feel it, and you bring it up, and then you start not bringing it up, because I don't know what it is. I don't know what the psychological thing is there, but I have friends that, if I try to get them to download the app, it's impossible. But, we have people downloading the app all over the world, no problem. But if I try to get my own friend to download it, Don't ask me why. There's definitely some psychological thing going on there that we should probably one day we'll bring a therapist on, and we can not only help fix me but fix those issues. Try to analyze those issues.
I'll be right there with you. That sounds like a blast.
It's been incredibly stressful to build this app,
Yeah.
but now I've been the least stressed since that gentleman came on. Is my point, and we've
Wow.
moved the fastest, and we've developed the app the fastest since he's come on because we've added more developers. When I was, we had a measly we had one front end, one back end basically. Maybe we had 2 front ends sometimes, but now we've got 3 front ends, a back end, a designer, and so it's just a much more complementary full team working on the app. So when this guy came on, we pushed ahead so much faster.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I want to let you do the talking because this is all about your app. But man, the stuff that you're talking about with software programming and like trying to make progress and running into walls and having to start over, like I hear you 100%. That's all I got to say. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm right there with you.
First clam bake, man. I started a television network once.
Really?
Yes, with some Kelsey Grammer was my partner and guy
cool.
who owned the Flyers in '76. So this ain't my first work. I owned an entire street in downtown Las Vegas,
Really?
entire block, both sides, and lost it all in 2008.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this ain't my first rodeo, man. I've had the highs and lows. My lows have been low. My highs have only been like excitement, but not fruition. Right? They didn't reach where they could have been in any of them.
You haven't got to that ranch you were talking about earlier.
No, I haven't gotten off at the peak of the ranch. I've done too many of these like this. And follow the captain going down with the ship on the Titanic.
Yeah,
dude, I've taken the Titanic down 2-3 times already.
Yeah, man.
For
sure. If you'd asked me 2 or 3 years ago, like, dude, should I get into software development? Is it a lot of this? I tell you, just like run away.
Yeah. If somebody were to ask me, should I develop an app? I would discourage. So it's a problem. It's problematic because I'm happy I did it.
Right. Yeah.
Because now I'm in a good place, and I could feel the momentum, and I could feel that I think this is going to be successful.
Yeah.
Right. But to get here was no cakewalk, man. Whew,
yeah.
hard.
Robert Kiyosaki. Have you ever read any Robert Kiyosaki stuff? He's the good dad.
Good dad, poor dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He has a phrase that entrepreneurs only have to get it right once.
Yeah.
It's one of his favorite phrases. Entrepreneurs only have to get it right once.
But all the losses. There's no question that I would be a multi-millionaire if I hadn't tanked so many of the things I tanked, including and we didn't even talk about my rehab centers. I had one of the biggest rehab facilities in Las Vegas.
Really?
Many locations all over town. That's a whole nother issue.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You got stories aplenty.
Yeah.
So what are your expectations? So can you talk about like the next 2 years, next 3 years with Jagz? Like what are your expectations with the app? Where do you want to go?
I mean, to be honest with you, we'll get to 2 years in a second.
Okay.
Once we come out with the ride calendar feature, which is it's a part of My Town in the app, that big orange button, My Town. Once we come out with that, then we're going to spend a lot of time fine tuning the app. So all the little things that we've neglected, not really bugs so much, but complementary features, not big features. Like for instance, when we come out with the ride calendar, we're going to have to create groups. We're going to have to create profiles for everybody else except guides. Okay. Everybody needs a profile. And where does that go in the app? And how is that connected to this and connected to that? And can you follow those people? How are you going to follow those people? And form these groups that are on there. And then can we have conversations in the postings? So all those things we're going to start to kind of create. There's something on the app. You can actually look at it now. If you go to the search screen and you scroll along the top, you'll see something called Jagz Life. Jagz Life. What I want to do is take a little bit of the thunder away from Instagram and from TikTok as well, and have a place where you can upload videos. Now, here's the difference. Instead of it being a shock value and instead of it being about popularity, I want it to be about destinations.
Mm-hmm.
So you live in, where do you live again?
Kansas City. Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you live in Kansas City, let's say I'm coming to Kansas City and I'm a fanatical mountain biker, okay, or in your case, you're a cyclist. But let's say I'm a fanatical cyclist. I want to know what's cycling life like in Kansas City. So let's say you upload a short video. I'm talking like 15-second video, of a scene. Maybe it's not even riding a bike. Maybe it's just hanging out with a bunch of guys, after a ride or at a restaurant or at a car. Well, you guys, you road cyclists like Dunkin' Donuts, and you like coffee shops, things like that. So
I'm not picky.
Just sitting at a coffee shop.
Right.
But I want that. I want life in Kansas City. So I want to know what it's like to ride it. So I can look through all these videos in Kansas City, and all of them, guess what? Will have a link to your profile, and they'll have a rating system. So I can rate that, okay? And they can show up on other parts of the app, but they also have a link so I can tap Tim and start chatting with you and go, dude, your video was awesome. I'd love to come ride in Kansas City. Can we make that happen?
Yeah, right.
And so that's going to be Jag's life. So we've got, how about dog profiles? This is quirky and silly, but to be honest with you, I mean, I have a trail dog.
No, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Trail dogs are awesome. No, I think you get so much traffic with trail dogs. Sounds quirky, man. Like there are so many trail dog pages on YouTube. And to your point, like about videos and stuff. When you said that, one of the things I was thinking about, like, you can accomplish that same goal that you're talking about if you go find like 20 or 30 different Facebook pages and join all of them for the place that you're wanting to go. Because like all of that information's out there, but it's so, despondent and dispersed and impossible to find.
Michael, my son, Michael, who is my partner. Okay. It's me and my son. This is a father-son thing.
Uh-huh.
My son, Michael, went to Italy several months ago, and couldn't find a tour guide. It was I think he did ultimately, but it was hard. There was no one place to go. There's no like place that you could say, this is where you find these things.
Right.
You go to a bike shop, you inquire there, you do searches on Google, all that kind of stuff. I think Jagz is gonna make everything so much easier for everybody. Once if we can get our name out there and establish ourselves, and we're in a position to do so right now, I think it'll be incredibly useful and convenient for everybody.
That's awesome. So, I'm really looking forward to it. 2022 is going to be an awesome cycling season because we're going to get to do a lot of cool stuff with Jagz. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. Thank you. You're good. You're good pitching, man. It's good.
I mean it. I'm not trying to butter you up.
But the way you framed it was nice.
Oh, thank you. Nice. Thank you.
It was
I mean it too, because like when I say that this is a problem I've been trying to solve for several years, it really is, and that's why I'm so interested in it, and why I think it's going to be so awesome is because I have been trying to make this work. And like, so another thing, and one of the things you talked about with Strava. Strava is a great social tool if you already have a social community. So like if you already have buddies, and people that you ride with, Strava's awesome because then you can share all your rides with them and you can do all your social stuff. But if you want to find people and like connect with people, Strava's worthless. Like you can't do that with Strava. It just doesn't work that way. And so like the problem that you're solving that I'm seeing from my perspective, being somebody who wants to use this, is that there's two issues. One, if you want to go someplace or if you live in a town and you want to find people to ride with, you have to dedicate hours and hours of time to just barreling around on Facebook trying to connect with people, which is literally what I've done. I mean, I've actually created my own Facebook groups because I've been so frustrated about this. I've literally created my own Facebook groups and dumped hours and hours of time just to build these communities because I need that.
Here's another scenario. That's assuming that you're pre-planning everything well. Let's say you're on a road trip. Yeah. You're on a road trip and you're driving some long country roads. You come to some town and that you can get on the app right there and go, what's the name of this town? And then, and actually, you know what? You won't even have to say what the name of the town is. The app knows. It's location-based.
Right. Yeah.
So you're in the town and now you can see popular hosts, popular guides, popular tours.
So cool, man.
the bike shop, there'll be a flash on your screen, a push notification that says Bob's Bike Shop is 2 miles away, offering 10% discounts for Jagz users. That's what's coming.
That's so cool. I'm so excited about it. Hey, well, I think we've got about 45 minutes of content. You want to cut it there, or maybe we'll.
Yeah, that's fine because I had the engineers are going to get on any second now.
Yeah. Okay. So let's. So what I'll do, I've got everything recorded, so I'll go back over it and get it all spliced together, and then I'll throw it on. I'll see if I can get it on like a Dropbox or something like that for you, and I can throw it your way, and then you can spice it up however you want. But I'll put it out.
Great. What should I use to splice it up? Is there some sort of?
So I use Camtasia. I find it's about the cheapest option out there, and it's about the easiest tool to work with. The other thing is too is if you want my help with that, I could probably help you with that if you want content spiced up. So all of my video editing. I mean, you can use like Adobe Photoshop or video editor.
What about Apple? Doesn't Apple have something called? What's it called?
Yeah, Apple has a tool. I think it's Movie Maker. It might be or something like that.
That or I also use this thing called Promo to create these little advertisement videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can upload a video on there and splice it. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And even I can add some stuff to it.
Okay.
So I mean, and all of our outtakes, if that's what the proper term is, I think you should keep them as well, in my opinion.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be so formal, you know?
Yeah, no, I like this.
Okay.
I like the fact that this is kind of just, it's back and forth. It's not like, an interview or anything. It's just easy conversation. That's good.
Well, that's because you're a road cyclist. I don't know where I'm going with that. But
Yeah, I left it open for such a good dig for you right there. You could have just.
Well, I think because you're a roadie and I'm a mountain bike guy, it allows for actually conversation because we don't know each other's worlds.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
Mountain bike, I think we'd have nothing to say.
It'd just be so boring. Well, maybe you can bring me over to the dark side. Maybe you can turn me into a mountain biker.
Just imagine everything you like about biking, but with no fumes and no death. No getting and no fumes.
How do you get excited without the fumes and the death? I mean, that's where all the adrenaline comes from.
You know what? I've never thought of it that way. You're right. But I think it'd be fair to go to the dark side. I mean, if death and fumes are your thing, then that's got to be the dark side. We're about deer and for me like donkeys and beautiful cactus.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the side. They what do they call it? The Blue Dome of God or something? The Church of God.
Right.
We're out in God's country.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We mountain bikers. And then after we celebrate God's country with a good beer and a hot dog. That's what we do.
So what you're saying is that mountain biking is country music and road cycling is heavy metal.
No, I thought. So I think heavy metal is also mountain biking. I would say you guys, and I think we're also classical.
Goth.
Because you're goth. You're goth. You guys are goth. That's it.
Oh, I love it.
Classical, country, and heavy metal, depending on our mood. But you guys got one goth.
We're goth. We're just getting run over by trucks. That's all. That's the one thing we got going for us.
Oh, we had a tragedy here last year.
Really?
Maybe you heard about it. There were road cyclists, and there was 5 or 6 of them got hit by a truck from behind.
That's awful.
All local people here in the biking community. It's horrible.
It is terrible.
They do that Ghost Rider thing, and they put like bikes, that represent people that passed away from getting hit by cars and stuff. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. That stuff will turn you into mountain bikers, man. That'll turn you.
I get it. I own a Garmin Varia for that exact reason, but I ride a lot on trails, to be honest. I do a lot of gravel trails and that stuff. Yeah, gravel. I'm getting more and more into gravel every year. But
that's where we can meet in the middle. That's a funny thing because that's where mountain bikers and road cyclists can meet in the middle.
Yeah,
is on gravel. Right? We bring a little bit of mountain and a little bit of road, and we marry them together on a bumpy little gravelly trail.
Yeah. And everybody can have a good time.
It's all kumbaya at that point.
It is kumbaya at that point. Yeah. You mix the goth with the country music, and
and you get Indian music.
Indian music.
You start Indian dancing out. You ever do that?
Yeah.
You start Indian dancing.
There you go. There you go. All right,
Yeah.
man. Well,
All right.
Dave, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, you've had enough of me. So you feel like, all right, I've had enough.
Honestly, man, I could talk like this all the time. I mean, we should do this again.
I got the. Well, I thought that was the plan. Wasn't that the plan?
It is the plan. Yeah, I'm just saying we should. I think it's a good idea. Let's do it again.
What you should do is we're gonna now take this, and your goal is to cut it up into pieces.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's great. Those pieces are great, but we should put it on a YouTube thing, shouldn't we? And a Rumble. I think a Rumble thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put it on those sites, and maybe we start taking like some guests on as well.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea.
So it could be a roadie guest, it could be a mountain guest, it could be like a nobody guest, it could be like a man on the street guest, whatever. We can take a guest.
Yeah.
So
something I'm doing, and this might be something that you'd be interested in doing too. One of the things I'm going to do this summer is I'm just going to go out and do trail stories. And so I'm going to go to my trails. So some of the trails Facebook pages I run trails for, I'm just going to go out to the trails and just go Facebook Live and just interview random people. Because
yeah, I have. Yeah, I that's exactly actually what I plan on doing too.
Is it?
Not necessarily about. I want to interview people about, because what I enjoy doing, it's actually quite fun, is going up to people and saying, "Hey, have you heard about this app called Jagz?"
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll surprise me and go, "Oh yeah, it's that new app," and but probably I would say 70% of the time or more, no, I've heard of it. What is that? And what I love about that is the reactions that you get from people, that I get from people when I tell them about it, and either their face lights up with interest and excitement after initially like turned off, like, get away from me, what are you coming over to me for? They light up, or believe it or not, I've had confrontations with people. You get these weird guys who are just like, just weird people, and get the F away from me, get away from,
Right.
I like that. That stuff's also funny on film. Like that's
my favorite trail story, and the best trail story I have, I don't know that I'll ever top this. I was riding on a trail here in Kansas City, and this was just like 3 or 4 months ago. And I was riding with my brother-in-law, and we're kind of going down the trail, good pace, and we see a gentleman on the side of the trail with a trash bag, and he's walking around picking up trash. And my brother-in-law's like, maybe we should stop and talk to that guy and just see what he's up to. So we turn around, and I pull up to him. I just say, hey man, I just want to interview you, because he was cleaning up trash, which is awesome. He's cleaning up the trail, which is so cool. And I just want to tell him thanks, for cleaning the trail. I just, what's your name? Who are you?
I'm gonna guess he hates. Were you on a mountain bike? What were you on?
It was gravel. It was gravel trail. Yeah.
Does he hate bike riders?
No. So he was an older gentleman, and he fought. He was in the Army. He was a doctor, and he'd served as a surgeon in the Army. And he started telling me all these crazy stories about being placed in Germany during the standoff between Russia and the United States, and when he was in the middle of Berlin. And he just starts, and I mean, I talked to the guy for like an hour, and he just basically told me his whole life story. It was one of the most fascinating conversations I ever had, just standing there on the trail with the guy.
That is awesome, and I concur. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I love talking to people out there.
Yeah.
And the guy I rode with today, we're kind of known for doing that.
Yeah.
We'll go on the trail, we'll see some people, we'll just start talking to them, and everybody else is like, "Are you guys ready yet?" But we're deep into conversation with some people, in some unique case that I want to know about. So I hear it, I get it.
Cool.
All right, Tim.
Thanks for your time, Dave. We're going to do this some more. Right. And if you've got some people you want to bring on, your buddy that you were talking to, let's get him on, and maybe we'll do a conversation and just shoot the breeze with him or something.
Well, you know what? I talk to a lot of people who download the app, and there's always interesting people. Like I talked to this professional football player last week, and before him, there's this UFC fighter that I've actually been friends with, but we talked as well. And there's interesting characters. A professional, the Canadian national champion, cycling champion.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. There's another champion. What country was that? There's another national champion. I forget what country he was from. Oh, I think it was South Africa. But these are the types of people that I meet through the app that would make interesting people to talk to, I think. So
that'd be fantastic. I'd love to facilitate that.
Yeah. All right. All right, Tim.
Take care, man.
So,
Good
see you
talking
later.
to you.
Thanks. All right, don't waste time. Get me some good stuff.
I will. See ya.
All right, bye.